Here we are. It is Friday. And once again, we're halfway through the month already.
Yeah.
For those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day, I hope you had a good one. If you don't, then I hope you just blew right past it. We are back in our normal fashion where we get a little nutty there in the green room. And we're already chit chatty in the chat here, talking about coffee as usual. I think that must be our standard go to, right? Um, I'm only on my first coffee, y'all, and you're talking about second, third, after breakfast, fourth, fifth. I think we've got some
Becky,
hobbits in the.
that's better than yesterday for you. You didn't even have coffee. So that was
I did not. It was a tragedy. I didn't even have. I
yeah,
didn't even have time. I had so many things going on. I sat there sadly, an empty coffee cup.
coffeeless.
It was very sad. I had tea instead, which was a sad substitute.
Not the same.
No, I mean I like iced tea. I drink iced tea all the time. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't have that oomph that my sweet little
My
coffee cup.
precious.
Yes, with the remnants of my the remnants of my espresso in there. But yes, I have my sweet coffee.
Yes, it's a necessity on a Friday
Yes.
morning, I'd say.
I could slurp it, but let's not get into that. Anyway, so we do have a special guest, and they are off camera waiting to be called up from the ether. So we will do that after we do our normal. We're going to go through community and meetups, and maybe even a little bit of. Well, do we want to bring them up before we do product updates, or do we want to? What do you want to do, Alexa?
Um, let's wait till after. I
Okay,
think
we're
we can
gonna.
get through that quickly and then
Yeah, I think we can do that pretty quickly, and then we'll bring them up. I know the
you're
suspense is
eager.
killing you. Yeah, Keith already figured it out, but that was a whoops while we were in the green room. So Keith, you
He's
have
too
to
smart.
keep it quiet. Okay. So all right. So community update. It has been busy in the community. So yesterday Tom posted an interesting Mac OS 13.2 security update. The challenges and risks with this update, a minor release of Mac OS 13 Ventura. The security update contains fixes for 3 CVEs, the most serious among them a flaw in WebKit. So go take a look at what Tom is talking about here, because any security vulnerability that is closed by an update represents a risk for unpatched systems. But this is a full 0-day exploit that has been closed, meaning that Apple has reports of this particular flaw being actively used by an attacker. So he's talking about this and giving some details in this post and wants to know what you are thinking about this current situation. So please go check that out. Give Tom your thoughts on that. I'm sure there are many. And if you are not actively patching that, please go patch now. I know we just had Patch Tuesday. We've got some more exploits that we're going to talk about later. Um, and I know Tom's not here to be able to talk about that more. Maybe we'll grab him next week, but he's been very busy. Keith, the only time native Chrome would be helpful on iOS. I have some interesting news about Chrome on Macs later in the news. So, also, Jurgen has been busy, busy, busy in the last week in the script repo. He's on fire. He had done some command for bound usernames, and he has a companion for Windows to that. So Windows command for bound username plus serial or something else to hostname script. He also did making use of get JC system app and create reports using PowerShell and some fun stuff with Apple shortcuts and Jump Cloud. Number 2, making use of the share sheet. So he had done a part 1. Now he's done a part 2 on that. And Sean Song has done some printer solutions scripts in the script repo as well. So that is on fire right now. Go check out all of those scripts. And then T. Smith has a question that could use some help trying to remotely send a command to install Bitwarden on a machine that is not working, and they need some help troubleshooting their script and what is maybe not quite going right with that. So we will post those links. Please go check them out and give some help if you can. And Alexa has an update on meetups and what we are doing this month, coming like next week, soon, very soon.
Next week. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, to start, we had our first meetup in Tel Aviv earlier this week, and it was a huge success. So thanks to the Jump Cloud team who helped facilitate that, Shai Morgan, Don Marshall, and Sue. We had a really great turnout. As I've talked about before, we planned it around the R Crowd event, which worked out really nicely because we had our Jump Cloud executives in town. So they were able to get a fireside chat together with other Israeli company CEOs. And they just had a really great discussion around identity transformation, and just an evening of really great networking. Enjoyed some food and beverage, and yeah, they just had a really great time. So really encouraging to see some of our international groups take off, and it's just exciting to get that going because we're excited to continue to expand in other countries. So that was this week. And then looking ahead, next week we have 2 meetups in Raleigh and Chicago. So Becky, of course, will be at the Raleigh meetup. And then our own Pam Lefkowitz and Shuba will be at the Chicago meetup. So check those out if you're in those areas. And then the following week, we will have our DC and Denver meetup. So Tom Bridge, of course, will be at the DC meetup. And then Chase Stoling and Scott Reed, who are frequent guests of this show, will be at the Denver meetup. So again, if you're in any of those areas, make sure you check it out. They're super informal. And we have a topic that we kick things off with every month, but they're really just an informal way to get to know other, IT professionals in the area, and just talk shop. We don't talk about Jump Cloud. It's really just casual hangout, drink a beer. They're a lot of fun. So those are all published in the Meetup platform. So I will put that link in the chat for you to check out if you're in those areas. But yeah, that is it for meetups. We will be looking to finalize our March schedule soon. And that might include some more virtual meetups too. So if you're not in any of those areas, you might be able to join us for a virtual meetup next month.
And Michael's asking if there are any coming to the UK. So
yes. We actually do have an established London group, which has been inactive for a while, but we are looking to activate that group starting in the second quarter. So hopefully come April, we will have the London group start meeting on a more regular basis. And then we are also planning, it's when Mac AD is, which I think is in May. We're looking to have a meetup, and that would be in Brighton. So a few things coming up around in the UK. So yeah, check it out, Michael. The London group, if you click the link to the meetup platform, you'll find the London group, and that's where we will publish all of those events. So yes.
Yeah, and with a Mac AD, if you're lucky, if it's like last year, you might get to meet Tom and Joel. I don't know if they're planning on going. I don't want to speak for them, but I know they both went last year, and they're both really cool. So if you get a chance to meet and chat with them,
yeah,
definitely take advantage of that.
For sure. Let's see.
All
Keith
right.
says, yeah. I don't think I've talked about this, Keith, on here, but Keith and I have talked. He is located in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities area, and they are looking to reactivate the Twin Cities Mac admins group. And we are hoping to help them out with that. So stay tuned for more details, but yeah, hopefully we'll get things going for that group here pretty soon.
Awesome. All right. And we're going to move quickly through product updates. So we have gotten a lot of requests around HR integrations, specifically for Gusto. And I'm very excited that we are working on that right now. And in fact, we just Wednesday are in beta for Augusto integration. So we're rolling out betas with several customers. And when we, let's see, our beta is going on now, and then we're targeting May for actually releasing that. So if you're interested in participating in the beta, let us know. It's going to be a little bit while we go through that and work out everything. Sam will have a post in the community next week talking more about that, but very excited to have that finally in the works, because a lot of people have been requesting, when are we going to have Gusto? So super excited. And then Alexa, you had some things around compliance.
Yeah, so not really a product release, but I did just want to call this out. Earlier this week, we published 2 new landing pages on the JumpCloud site around a campaign we just launched around compliance. So there's 2 separate ones, one for direct IT admins and one for MSPs. And these will just serve as central hubs for all the different resources we'll be publishing over the next couple of months around compliance. So there'll be some really cool things. There'll be ebooks and blogs, webinars, case studies, all the good things. But yeah, if you are interested in downloading guides around how to, build that foundation or help your clients maintain compliance, be sure to check those out. And I will drop the links to both of those in the chat.
All right. And with that,
here we go.
Are your roasters ready?
Ooh.
Rob, Rob, do you have your roasters ready? Because they might be a little rusty.
But you might need it.
Our special guest, are you ready, guest, to hop on?
No.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Hello, mystery person. I know who this is now, Rob says. Yay. Ben, welcome back.
Rob, Luke, how are we doing? Becky, Alexa.
Ben.
Nice to see your faces. Nathan.
Time
to leave.
See, there we go.
It's like I never even left. I feel at home. I feel like I am now home. Thank you.
Yes.
He lives.
Yes.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
He's alive.
He lives. And we are so happy to see you and have you on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy when Becky reached out. I was like, "Do you want to come on the show?" I was like, "Yes, yes, and yes." But I was like, maybe I could schedule it.
You gotta play it cool. Yeah,
busy.
Maybe I might be able to find some time.
I might have some, things available. Whatever.
Could move some things around.
You have your people reach out to my people.
It was me. I'm the people.
Yeah, I like Jeff's comment. Now we're Z-scaling up this conversation.
Ooh.
Nice.
Good. That is good.
You're right. We never did get the Ben Roast coffee, Rob. We never got around to it.
It's not too late.
It's never too late. I think that's vendor agnostic, right?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ben Roast coffee.
We could co-brand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be an interesting branding.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So
we'll call it like the Z jump.
Ooh.
Get it? Because
jump Z, jumps. So tell us, Ben, what have you been up to? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Still in Tampa. Kids are growing up. Dog is big now. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Been focusing on a lot of kind of shifted gears a little bit from IT administration over into more like zero trust type world, and doing community. So we're doing a lot of things, staying busy.
meet up in Tampa sometime? You know any?
Potentially, if we
you-
have any people that
Yeah.
are interested.
Do you know any IT folks out that way yet?
So I work from home, Becky. I don't get out.
We
So
don't leave the house.
we don't. I'm not even wearing pants right now on this
Oh.
show. So just FYI.
I'm
Good to
sure
know.
everybody in the audience really appreciates that
And
mental
we
image.
missed you.
I, on the
Pleasure.
other hand, usually have to take my kids to school, so I have to wear pants because it's
Yeah.
kind of frowned upon to,
This is true.
just in case I actually have to get out of the car. Yeah.
How to
Jeff is screaming internally, like the
Luke is like, that
and-
escalated quickly.
yes. Rob wants to know if your daughter still creates forts in the background of your meetings.
Well, I relocated my desk. I have a sit stand desk. Maybe I'll do a demonstration here in a moment. Basically, I'm
Ooh.
sitting
We don't
and
need
then
you to stand up.
I'll demonstrate how I stand up.
As long as your
Uh,
camera moves up with you so it stays above the waist, then we'll be okay.
But so the fort building happens in the other room. But yes, she does still build forts. You could probably get Blake Bortles for Tampa meetup. Okay.
Oh, Jason
Or
Bortles.
Jason Bortles.
We could go for it. I mean,
Yeah. So
On
Rob
holding up
is
a coffee
saying,
mug.
need a picture of Ben with a goofy, excited look on his face, holding a coffee mug with his headset on for the packaging. I think we need to go back and find the picture from last year where he's like doing that slow slurp, the very long extended
Yes.
coffee slurp from one of the previous.
I think that should just be the commercial. Like it just it just fades in and then it just like says, pow, Ben Rose Coffee. And that's the commercial. That's the whole
sells itself, really.
that's the whole thing. Just drink coffee.
It either sells itself or makes people run away screaming like Jeff has done. He's probably 5 miles away by now.
Either way, it's a success in my book.
This is true.
Yeah.
I guess
right.
maybe if some folks haven't been, watching the show for a while, should we give a little background as to why we have Mr. Ben Garrison on?
Nah.
No,
No one
True.
cares.
Moving on.
moving on.
No, I can look through and see. Yeah. So for people who may not know, I think most of the people here know, but just in case you don't. So
This still going on YouTube?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for all the
Absolutely.
YouTube fans.
Yes. For people who might be watching this later and stumble upon it, they're gonna be like, what's the big deal? Who is this dude? Who cares?
Nathan thinks we should keep the mystery alive.
Yeah.
Just have this rando on.
Yes. Keep the
just-
mystery alive. Yes.
Funny.
So Ben worked with us you were here for 2.5 years.
Yeah, a little over 2 years. Yep. At
Yeah.
Jump Club.
Yeah. And actually he was the one that kind of started the IT hour pretty much. We brainstormed and named it. It was, what was it, like office hours before that? And we were like, no, we're going to rename this and named it the IT hour. And then he started it. And then we kind of teamed up to do this because he felt like talking to himself all the time was kind of boring. And admit it. I mean, we're fun. We're pretty awesome.
Well, we think
And-
so.
I mean, that's really all that matters. As long as you feel that you're fun, then it doesn't matter what Rob Lyons has to say.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I hadn't noticed he was gone. Thanks, Rob. We love you too.
It's funny.
So, and Ben left us last summer, and we're not mad at all. We
Clearly.
don't have abandonment issues. We're not still talking to our therapists about it. Speaking for a friend.
Yeah.
Ben
And
like 4 people watching. Rob. Remember when it was like Ben and like 4 people watching? Yes, I do remember that, Rob.
and now we're up to an average of 30 to 40.
Wow.
And
Way to go.
But I still think that and it's pretty consistent each week, which is cool. People float in and out, and we're cool with that. And but still our sysadmin day was still pretty high. But also when Raj was on here, that was like,
Oh,
you
I
know,
bet.
totally. And the views are good afterward. But we're having fun. We're having a really good time. And thank you, Nathan. He logs in with 6 devices in the office. I appreciate you,
Nathan's our built-in view bot.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's loyal.
Absolutely. Keith says he's only been gone for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like no
It's
time
been,
has passed at all, and here he is.
what was it, July?
It
I think
was
it was
July.
it was
Yes.
in
It was
July.
like the first week of July, and
Yeah.
so Ben went over to Zscaler, and actually he's working with a colleague of mine, someone I've known for a long time. That didn't hurt at all.
Completely accidental.
Mhm. No, he didn't know that we knew each
Six
other.
Nathans.
And he's been doing really great, and we're actually really happy for you and glad you're enjoying it over there and learning lots of things and trying something new. So tell us a little more about that. Tell us about the Zscaler community and what you do over there.
Yeah, so my official title over there is the technical moderator and knowledge manager. So I just make sure that people don't post silly things on the community. That's my job. Just kidding. No. So my that is also part of it, moderation of the community, right? Which is a regulatory and requirement of a community, but then also curating and collating content to try and find ways to create campaigns or programs. I'm very in touch with the enablement team with Zscaler for their training and certifications. Stay very in touch with product marketing teams to try to find thought leadership and content that's engaging for the community itself. And yeah, so that's it's been a lot of things to learn. We're going through a platform migration. Yeah,
So fun.
that's not stressful. Um,
I've only done that like 4 or 5 times. So that look you saw on my face was I've been
Yeah.
I'm gonna start crying. I still have nightmares occasionally
Yeah.
from the things I've been through.
But it's interesting when you look at a community strategy between and just kind of talking community as an industry for a second, right? I'm off today, so yay. The community strategies between organizations and how different they can be and how contrasting they are. Like Jump Cloud's community is really focused in on IT administration as a whole, right? And so that's the domain, that's the personas that that community is targeting, and it's amazing. And of course, sprinkle in the things about Jump Cloud, and it is Jump Cloud, which is awesome. And I think Becky and Alex are just awesome community managers. And then Zscaler strategy slightly different, right? It's primarily a community of practice, right, where there's a bunch of practitioners, but they're starting to also take that avenue of, hey, we want to have zero trust administrators, right? So we're working on creating this concept. We think of like AWS certified architect, right, or something like that. Zscaler is taking the approach of, hey, we want to create zero trust architects, right, and make that as a title, right? And so that's the long journey, but that's the difference in communities, and I thought that was super interesting to see that. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
The audience is probably asleep, but I thought it was cool.
I mean, zero trust is the most riveting conversation you could ever have. Let's talk
Mhm.
to you about zero trust, the 7 key principles.
You prepared a deck, right?
Yeah. Do you have a deck? Can we start sharing?
Right? I can send an ebook. Most of the posts being deleted by Ben were also posted by Ben.
Yeah, because you have to read the one right above it. Rob said, "Preventing people from posting nonsense." Sounds like the worst position to give Ben,
Oh,
because
man.
Ben's the one posting the nonsense, I think, is the unwritten part of that.
Ouch. I really feel the love.
Don't you miss us?
Absolutely.
We're so glad you
Absolutely.
agreed to be on today.
Yes.
You know what? I
yes.
had the day off and I'm like, oh man, now I just gotta go get roasted for an hour. It's
Mhm.
fantastic.
best way to spend a day off. Oh, isn't it fantastic? Oh, you knew what you were walking into.
I knew,
Yeah,
especially
you did.
especially if these jokers are still here.
They are, believe it or not, they stuck around. They love us. I don't know why, but they do. So we love you too.
Remember that time when Alexa had to step in and do the IT news with me, and it was
Never make me do that again.
it was so great. She was like, "Yeah, I feel that is very bad."
That sounds bad. Hacks, bad.
You poor
Hacks?
thing. I'm so sorry, Alexa.
It was great.
Ben was loving it. So
Yeah. Yeah, now I read the news and we chit chat about it and stuff, but I don't make her try to give commentary on it. She laughs at the
Nice.
comments and helps me read those, but I don't force her to. Although we do
That-
we did have fun last week because we were talking about the NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, the NVIDIA video thing? And so I was like making creepy eyes at the camera. And
NVIDIA just had, and I know this because of insider knowledge, they just had a pretty big layoff too. So
yeah, there's been
yeah, they're still going.
mhm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those around the. I try not to put those in the IT news because then we'll all just sit here depressed
Yeah.
when we start talking about all of those. So, but yeah, but we try to put some interesting and fun things in the news that we can talk about too. Not so many fun things in the IT news today, though. But we will get to that. So, how big are your girls now, by the way? I've been thinking about that.
Malaya is 9, Scarlett is 4.
Wow.
Are they,
And we were just outside this morning skating. Got some rollerblades and some roller
Aw.
skates. So,
fun
and my dog he's sleeping
figures?
per usual. He might make an appearance later.
I hope so.
He's huge. He's like 78 pounds right now.
Wow.
Ooh.
We
He's
knew
a-
he was going to be a big boy.
yeah. He's a dog now. Not a puppy. He's a dog.
But he's still doing great, huh?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
He's sleeping like a cute little dog he is.
Yeah, he did
But
sleep
yeah,
a lot during this
I have kind of chimed in, popped in and watched and lurked the show on YouTube, and even kind of hung out a little bit and watched the show last couple of weeks. So yeah, it's awesome watching the show continue to keep growing.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see something that you you started and put a lot of hard work into, and then it just keeps going on in some form or fashion.
Yep. Indubitably.
Yeah, Rob says, I don't think we ever even got to see the dog because it was always sleeping. Yeah, most of the time.
It's
Ben,
funny
you
because
didn't
he
have
doesn't.
a dog.
He's a complete like weirdo, and he's super hyper. But around this time of day, he wants to sleep.
That's
Yeah.
nice though.
Midday. I mean, it's lunchtime on the East Coast, so it's a perfect nap time. Rob,
I
just because
know.
you're in Central Time, whatever. You know.
Move, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah,
What's wrong
Rob.
with you? Just move. Come on.
Just pack up and go.
I mean, we could start a pet thread on the community and have Ben share a picture there. Yeah, that's
Ben
true,
train.
Sam. Yeah. Train the dog to sleep during broadcast time. That's actually
That
not
probably
bad.
was a byproduct because I always put him in his kennel right around this time.
Yeah.
So that he would calm down. So now he's probably just like, oh, it's nap time.
Well, my I adopted a cat 2 weeks ago, which I don't think I've shared with the IT Hour. And I know you all care so much about what's going on in my life, but she got into some catnip this morning, and she is on one. She will not chill out. I don't
gone
even know
through
where
it.
she is right now, but Yeah,
I don't know. I heard her knock something over earlier. I heard a crash, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
is that Nona?"
yes,
Because, but she's adorable.
she
She
is
is so
cute.
cute. I can't remember if you showed her last Friday or not.
I don't think I've
Um,
shown her yet, but
she's
she is a high kitten right now. Yeah.
but she's
She
just a
normally
fluffy
sleeps
ball.
all day, but yeah, she is running around. But
She is a fluffy void, and she's adorable. So yes, I think we are going to have to start a pet thread and share
that's good.
pictures of our of our companions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
further
support it.
supports, or it would be further evidence that we need to create pet swag, Jump Cloud pet swag.
That's true. We will have to figure out how to do that. Although I don't think, I mean, poor Rob is going to feel a little left out because I'm not sure we can figure out how to do rat t-shirts. That might be kind of difficult. Sorry, Rob. Maybe we can do hats, rat hats, little teeny tiny,
Ratty hats.
just little teeny tiny little propeller hats. That's Jump Cloud on them or
Aw.
something.
Or little rat ears. The tail.
Any moment now, Cat's going to just launch across Alexa's camera. That would be funny. And bounce off the monitor and knock everything over. Yes, we're just going to see one of those cartoon cats that's just pew, 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 just all over off the walls. And
yes, I would not be surprised.
Keith wants one of the hoodies. I have my hoodie, and I thought about wearing it, but I was like, nah, probably not.
This is a good one.
Yeah,
That
and
is a good one.
we just got the magic keys yesterday.
Finally.
Magic keys.
Keys
to the swag kingdom. Exactly. Keys to the swag kingdom. And so we've just got to do a couple more things, and then we can start
sending out
what we've been promising to send out.
I know. Yeah.
We keep promising, but we're not lying. We just have to get, like I said, the t-shirt pipeline, get all the finishing touches in place. Sam's like, ooh, I know. I think Sam was one of the ones that was pinging me like, where's my t-shirt? Because of the certifications. So Keith says it's too warm for a hoodie in Florida. I think he's trying to indicate that you need to like send it to someone who's in a colder climate that could
Keith
use
is in a colder climate.
It gets cold here in Florida. It's like it gets cold. Like cold.
Like
I think we're
65.
Flip the numbers.
Oh, 56.
Whoa.
Woo.
Well, actually, it got down. Actually, it does get below 32. It got below 32 this winter. A couple days.
But you never leave your house, so what are you worried about?
Right. It's got to be a hoodie, no pants. That's
Oh, full
God, you gave
circle.
us the no pants visual again.
full circle.
Yeah, Wisconsin enters the chat. Minnesota enters the chat. Yeah, 5 degrees when Keith woke up. Ouch. And I think I was chatting with some of our colleagues in Colorado, and they were saying something about, I don't know, digging out from under 10 inches of snow or something. So
we didn't get any snow, but it got like that. What was that cold front that came in throughout the entire country? And we got down to like 28 degrees. Now,
That's
that might not
unusual.
be cold for the northern parts of the country, but for Florida, that was, you better just call out of work. Just
panic in the streets. There's no bread or milk in the
people were
the grocery store.
People were lighting trash cans on fire to stay warm. Like it was bad.
No one even has a heater because they don't even know what they are.
You're like, what's this? This is dark magic.
Dark magic.
Well, what's funny here, it's probably the same near Alexa, is whenever it gets, there's like a hurricane or any sort of storm ready to come through. It's like there's a rush on the grocery store, and bread, milk, it's all gone. Just
the shelves will be
gone.
empty.
Yes.
Don't even
It's
talk about the
wild.
toilet paper. Like, what are we gonna be doing in a hurricane with all that toilet paper? Just stop. Just stop, people.
I guess if they have a flood, they're gonna soak it up with their toilet paper. I don't
Oh
know.
my
It's like,
gosh.
I
Just
don't
wrap
know.
your house in toilet paper. I'm protected.
That's right. That's right.
2-ply.
Yep. We always talk about bread and milk sandwiches. That's what they're gonna make when
Yeah.
there's a storm. Bread, milk, and TP and eggs. Yes, they do run. I guess they're gonna make French toast. That's what they're gonna make. Bread, milk, and eggs, French toast. But
Eggs are so
why don't they make
expensive.
it run on syrup? If you're
Good
gonna make
point.
French toast, you need
Cinnamon.
syrup.
Syrup?
Yes, syrup. Yes, they do run on gas too. Sam says egg, TP, and gas.
Rob.
If you only have been eating bread and milk, you would need the TP. Yeah.
It's a fair point.
Yes.
Fair.
Oh man.
Oh wow, Rob. Going back up a little bit in the chat. Rob says it was 16 C 2 days ago, and it was minus 2 C this morning. Rob, what are you doing putting Celsius?
See,
In
I saw
your-
his comment, but it required math to understand, and it completely just moved past that once he started. putting
Insert that
Celsius.
one where the woman's going
Oh yeah.
with all the math calculations going above her
Yeah.
head. That's a Winona Ryder one, but there's another one of a woman just going.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got all the math floating above her head.
Anything with maths, count me out.
Yeah, at least
Okay.
in my head. Give me a calculator and I'm okay, but I'm not quick in my brain.
It is too early to math.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. About 56 and 27. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
translation, Rob. I knew it was cold. No need to do math if you just use C. I know, but we're in America and we stupidly do not use Celsius unlike the rest of the world for whatever reason. It would be
The rest of the
easier
world
if
just
we
hasn't
just
caught up yet, really.
if we use Celsius and kilometers and meters, it would just make things much easier to
Really
relate
would.
to the rest of the world. I do like baking with grams and milliliters and things like that. It makes it much easier to measure. Much easier for baking. So during the pandemic, I started using recipes that used that. And now it's like, where has this been all my life? This is
Yeah.
so much easier. If I wanted to make it hard, I would have used Kelvin. Rob, if you did that, I would have booted you. I would have I have the power and just kick you out right now. No, not really. I would have just done the same thing where I would have raised an eyebrow and been like, huh? Fortran. Okay. Instead of C, just use Fortran. All right, y'all. Now you're going off the rails in the chat.
Off the rails. Rob's over here talking about scientist underwear, Calvin Klein.
Wow. Becky, should we boot Ben? Let's be honest.
We've lost control.
Ben's pleased.
We
He's
knew
proud of
this.
that one.
We knew this was going to happen. Rob's telling Jeff to go to the corner. Sam's voting for punch cards. It's chaos. It is absolute chaos.
It turned into pandemonium.
Yes, Rob says, you too, Ben. Ben, you need
Alexa's
to go to the
gonna
corner
catch
too.
the case of the giggles. It's just
I-
gonna turn. This is gonna spiral.
Cats
was
and
worried about
dogs
that.
living together. Absolute pandemonium and chaos. Jeff
Do we have
says,
some IT news or what's going on?
Yeah.
here?
yeah.
Wait, IT.
IT news. What are we supposed to be talking about here? Jeff says the lack of pants makes this disturbing. I think that's a good segue to try and find the news and bring this back.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about Chrome, and I said we had some news about that, and we do, because Google is allegedly paying Apple a portion of Chrome search revenue as a part of a secretive non-compete deal. So Google allegedly pays Apple a portion of all search revenue from Chrome for iOS and what appears to be a non-compete deal, the Register is reporting. According to a source said to be familiar with the matter, who spoke to the Register, Google has been paying Apple a portion of search revenue generated by Chrome users on iOS in return for being the default search provider in Safari and other commercial benefits. The relationship between Apple and Google is an ongoing area of scrutiny for not only the US Justice Department, but also the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, which are apparently looking into the secretive search revenue sharing deal. And Google pays Apple around $15 billion annually to ensure that a search engine is the default option on Apple devices. But the latest news is that Google is purportedly paying Apple for searches in Chrome for iOS as part of a search revenue sharing deal. That's a new development. The revenue sharing agreement is said to be known about in detail by only a small number of people. The amount Google is paying Apple and the wider terms of the deal have been redacted from the Competition and Markets Authority reports.
I don't know if that was
Interesting.
necessarily known, Keith. I did know that they had reached in the past, they had reached some type of agreement because Apple had approached Google for when the iPhone first came out and people were using Safari to use Google search, right? And so Google had collected all of this, telemetry on the iPhone, the first iPhone that had all this telemetry around Google searches. And so I was able to help Google kind of accelerate past, Yahoo and AOL and all the different search engines that were out there because the iOS platform skyrocketed. I knew there was some type of legal action or agreement. So I don't know if that's was the history of that or not. But
I think what
yeah,
they're saying now is that even if there was an agreement, that there's some anti-competition thing going on that makes this
yeah.
closer to antitrust. And I mean, honestly, I guess I just never really thought about it too much. Yeah, I bring up Safari on my phone, and it automatically, when I search, it goes to Google. Um,
I think that there definitely should be an option. Who
mhm.
who do you want as your search provider? So
Well, further down in the article, it talks about how Apple could create its own search in Safari and make it more competitive with Chrome, but they have chosen not to because of this agreement. And so there's, more colluding going on there than what is apparent right now, but it's very, very super secret. So it's the secrecy of it that is part of the
well,
thing.
I mean, it's $15 billion with a B to
Hmm.
to make it a primary search engine.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that Google's basically paying them not to compete with them by not developing something on Safari. So it's a pretty big incentive.
they got paid for every search they did via the URL bar landing page. Rob.
I mean, I guess, would you want to pay a few $1 billion to work and develop your own? Or would you just want to let that money roll in and say, ah, there she is. Hi, Nona. Right across the camera, like we said. Should do
What
what
kind of
my
cat is
cat
that?
does. And
Is that a
Well, I don't know. Well, we think she's part ragdoll because she is long hair and she does just hang. Oh, she's a good
looks kind of
girl.
like one of those what are they called? Maine
Oh,
coons
Maine
or
Coon.
yeah.
Yeah, she's much smaller than that. The
Oh.
ragdolls, they're very similar, but the ragdolls are smaller.
yeah. It's like a requirement for a cat. They come up and they turn around and they go, "Hi, here's my butt."
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, yes.
Every time. So next one. Now this one is well, let me just read it and then we can talk about it. Tile is adding undetectable anti-theft mode to tracking devices with a 1 million fine if used for stalking. I don't know how I feel about this right now. So, AirTag competitor Tile today announced a new anti-theft mode for tile tracking devices, which is designed to make tile accessories undetectable by the anti-stalking scan and secure feature. So, scan and secure is supposed to be a security feature that Tile implemented in order to allow iPhone and Android users to scan for and detect nearby Tile devices to keep them from being used for stalking purposes. Unfortunately, Scan and Secure undermines the anti-theft capabilities of the Tile because a stolen device's Tile can be located and removed. Something also possible with similar security features added for AirTags. Tile's anti-theft mode disables Scan and Secure, so a Tile tracking device will not be able to be located by a person who does not own the tracker. You see where this is going. To prevent stalking with anti-theft mode, Tile says that customers must register using multi-factor identification and agree to stringent usage terms, which include a $1 million fine if the device ends up being used to track a person without their consent. The anti-theft mode option is meant to make it easier to locate stolen items by preventing thieves from knowing an item is being tracked. Tile points out that in addition to anti-theft mode, its trackers do not notify nearby smartphone users when unknown Bluetooth tracker is traveling with them, making them more useful for tracking stolen items than AirTags. Apple has added alerts for nearby AirTags to prevent AirTags from being used for tracking people. So, yes, Rob, I appreciate the steep fine as well, but how are they going to enforce that? As a woman, this concerns me greatly because I already know several women who have been stalked using AirTags. And so, yeah, so someone has to provide their ID and everything to turn off the tracking for that. But if someone's determined to stalk an ex, that's not going to stop them.
Yeah, the whole I mean, the AirTag thing itself has already been used as in criminal, and then of course, even with the notification, you got to think like that's the problem that I have with a lot of technology things because I think even the IRS had gotten in trouble for this when they were using face recognition to try and identify people on the internet, and then you also have companies like Apple who are assuming that just because you put a notification on a phone that anybody knows what that means,
Or be able to
right?
find it. I mean,
You're assuming that the person that has the phone will see the notification and know what that means and say, "Oh, let me turn that off," or let me actually, there's so many people who are falling for so many different types of scams out there, right? Phishing scams, you name it, that anybody, elderly, the young, right? People who are not very tech savvy that can fall victim to these things even when there is notification. So, I think there just needs to be more controls in place because the people who are susceptible or that are being, targeted are probably the ones that are not going to know what notification means in the first place. And then you make it even more difficult to turn it off. Like that's, yeah, no,
mhm. I
not a
mean,
fan.
I understand what they're going for because if your item is stolen and that pops up, then the thief knows, "Oh, this is being tracked," and they can just take it off and throw it away and continue on. But that does a thing does not override a person's safety. And these have already been used to stalk women more than once. And that is a huge concern. And that just overrides any of this
Mhm.
of this at all in my mind because number one, as they get smaller, they are going to be harder to find. Like someone said in the Keith said in the comments, it's a hard problem that will get even harder as the tech becomes smaller and smaller because this will pop up on your phone. You'll be like, "Oh, there's a tag. Now, where is it? Did someone drop it in a purse, in a backpack? Is it stuck somewhere in a car?" I mean, there are so many places you could stick it on a car that, you know, I've seen posts by terrified women that they go to a police station or to a mechanic and they're trying to sweep the car, trying to find these things. Um, It's not pretty. But I also see parents, slipping one in a backpack for a kid to try and,
Yep.
keep track of them and keep them safe, and that's a good thing. But there are just
There's
so
all
many bad applications too.
everything that can be designed to be for altruistic reasons can be used for nefarious reasons. Like that's
Mhm.
just you can't. It's really hard. It's like how do you balance the two, and how do you try to mitigate the nefarious actors? So
Yeah, I think that this thing by Tile is a step in the wrong direction, though. By being able to hide
Mhm.
it to where it doesn't pop up and tell you, I think that's not a good thing at all. I mean, this makes it easier to hide and do worse things with them.
And of course, it's already illegal, but that's not going to stop people from doing it.
No, not in the least.
There are already apps in development that will pinpoint the location of these trackers. That's cool.
Yeah, if you could just, scan over the, car and then it would kind of beep as it got closer or something, that would be super helpful. All right. One more. We got another back door here. Researchers unearth a Windows backdoor that's unusually stealthy. We found this on Ars Technica. Researchers have discovered a clever piece of malware that stealthily exfiltrates data and executes malicious code from Windows systems by abusing a feature in Microsoft Internet Information Services, IIS. IIS is a general purpose web server that runs on Windows devices. As a web server, it accepts requests from remote clients and returns the appropriate response. In July 2021, network intelligence company Netcraft said there were 51.6 million instances of IIS spread across 13.5 million unique domains. It offers a feature called failed request event buffering that collects metrics and other data about web requests received from remote clients. Client IP addresses and port and HTTP headers with cookies are two examples of the data can be collected. FREB helps administrators troubleshoot failed web requests by requesting ones meeting certain criteria from a buffer and writing them to disk. This mechanism can help determine the cause of 401 or 404 errors or isolate the cause of stalled or aborted requests. Hackers have figured out how to abuse this feature to smuggle and execute malicious code into protected regions of an already compromised network. The hackers can also use FREB to exfiltrate data from the same protected regions. Because the technique blends in with legitimate EEB requests, it provides a stealthy way to further burrow into the compromised network. Now, as I read further on this, there's not a clear way yet to find this and seek it out and destroy it. But I'm just bringing this up because, we just had Patch Tuesday. Keep your eye out for further news on things like this so you can keep up to date. And, quick plug, if you have patch management, use it. If you
And
don't have it.
or browser isolation.
Yep. And
That
if
wasn't
you
a
don't
shameless
have,
plug or anything.
if you don't have patch management, get on it.
Patch
Um,
management and SSL inspection.
Are you guys feeling okay? You coughing a lot.
Just saying. But even if you don't, I mean, please keep up on your patching. Please keep up on. I think most of you do or do the best you can, but if you're not, for anyone watching this later, please do your patches.
Yes.
Unlike badges where you think you don't need any stinking badges,
Don't
you
know
need
stinking
patches.
badges.
You need patches.
We need all the patches.
All the patches. Please patch.
Patch now, patch often.
Yes. And
So I think it's funny how the article started off with the words a piece of malware that was stealthy. Good. I'm glad that malware was stealthy opposed to just absurdly obnoxious malware. What's the
Apparently,
opposite of
this one was
stealthy?
this wasn't just stealthy, it was particularly stealthy, like
Ooh.
extra stealthy.
Ooh. So this one
This
was
one was extra stealthy. Yeah,
yeah.
it was extra
That-
bad. It's strong bad.
strong
There's a
strong bad.
throwback. There's a throwback for you.
Strong
Whew.
bad.
Early days. Oh, thank you, Alexa. I was just going to bring up the question about. Let's see. Jacob said, "Is there an upcoming DC meetup?" Because Jacob was late, and we are answering that in the chat and saying yes, 227. And Alexa put a link in the chat for you, and I'm just answering that out loud so that we have a record. Check into
Yes.
emails, Jeff. Jeff got the reference. So let's see, Sam. I know a company whose IT manager ignored all patching and their Exchange server was compromised. Took them 3 months and a loss of about 50 million in revenue to recover from the ransomware attack.
Ooh.
Ow. See, that is a good reason why you need to patch. Ex IT manager, says Keith.
How many of the 3 letters did that IT manager have to use there, Sam? All 3 at the same time?
Wow.
That
Wow, that is-
whole whenever you take a new position, just create 3 letters. Joke.
I'm telling you that how much more would be safer if we still all use comp 386s? Maybe if none of them were connected to the web, we'd be pretty safe, but that would make it hard to do our work. The IT manager quit a month after the attack as it became obvious they were negligent in their duties. Yeah. Whew. How would you like to be the next IT manager that walked into that mess?
Ouch. That's like one of the questions, like, can I ask why the previous IT manager or why this position is open? Yeah, we had a hack and because no one passed anything. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think I will continue to keep looking elsewhere.
Because that's a mess. That's a mess you don't want to clean up.
Oh,
mean-
jeez. I mean, it'll keep you busy for like 6 months.
Oh, Rob, sorry, I did not see the compy. I missed it. I skipped right over that. Thank you for calling that out. I guess I need more coffee. It's been almost 2 years and they haven't filled the position. Holy
Oh my
moly.
gosh.
No one wants to touch that.
Nope.
Yeah, Jonathan, red flag, hard pass.
That's how companies end up just going MSP route. Like, you just need to outsource all of this because you are completely jacked up. Not a single person is ever going to take on that workload by themselves. So
Not until you get it fixed and back in a good
Right.
place, and then you might be able to
right.
to hire again. I was thinking the same thing. I almost said that. I'm like, yeah, I think you're going to bring somebody, like bring in an MSP to fix that, and then you might have some luck because that's just
Yeah, that's the only
I
that's
mean-
the only move at that point. If you're that in the weeds and you can't even fill the position for 2 years.
Mhm.
Well, that was awesome. Thanks for having me back.
Ben, come back whenever.
No. Just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding. No. I can only get roasted so many times.
I was gonna say,
You
yeah.
used to do it every week, though. What's the
Yeah, I
deal?
was paid for it then.
That's true.
Fair enough.
True
maybe
and
we can-
real.
Maybe we can find some budget to, send you a coffee card
A
to
coffee card.
compensate you for your
Little-
pain and suffering.
little DoorDash action.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have a jump-
Trogdor. Now we've got Trogdor in the comments. All right. now
Come
we're
back
talking.
when you have a jump cloud integration. What do you mean?
Oh, a Zscaler Jump Cloud integration. Come
I
back
have
then.
so there was that question in the Slack lounge, and there is an internal thread. So we have an internal community place on our community for employees to post things, and they posted like a workflow for Jump Cloud SAML, but it was using the custom SAML connector with the SCIM integration. So, but there's no difference between the Zscaler built-in application versus the custom SAML application. There's no difference in configuration just with the IDP. So I don't know if supplying just the workflow or if they're asking for some more like firsthand knowledge of how it worked, but I could probably try and share at least the setup and integration piece of it. So
Either on
Right.
your community, or if you can't do that on there because it's closed, then we have a space where you could do that. Wow. What a
Wow.
coinkydink.
Yeah, I'll probably
Who
do that.
knew?
Probably if I can't, I don't know why. There's nothing in there that's super secret squirrel that I can't make public, but you know how it goes. You gotta cross T's, dot I's, make sure everyone's all happy about it first.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
because if we post it on the community from a Zscaler employee, then it's gonna be documentation no matter how you look at it. So you just gotta be careful. That's all.
No, we don't know what that's like.
No.
No, we don't know what that's like. All right. Well, we filled an hour of complete
Ooh.
BS. So wow, we're good.
Coffee and no pants. That was great talk, people.
Yeah.
Another great IT hour.
Yeah. The Coffee and No Pants IT Hour brought to you by Ben
Right.
Roasters. Ben
And
Coffee
roasters.
Roasters.
So
Back channel that stuff, Ben. That's what Keith's saying.
you know what, I probably will. I'll probably do that next week if I don't get anything back from anybody. So
Well, thank you for taking the time on your day off
of
to
course.
be put through the ringer.
Of
We
course.
appreciate
I
you, bud.
appreciate it, everybody. You have a fantastic weekend. And if you're off on Monday, have a great 3-day weekend. If you're not off on Monday,
I am. We're not. Thanks for
I'm
rubbing
technic-
salt in it.
we're technically not off either. I just took it off. So my kids are
All
off.
right, y'all. Thank you so much. And we will see you on the flip side. And have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Okay, bye.